right, now in a second I'm going to go through lists of seats that you're interested in, all the rest of it. Let's talk 5 weeks out, 4 and a bit weeks out, about the state of play and about where you honestly think things to be. You can take or leave what I just said at the start there, that perhaps, surprise, surprise, the budget wasn't what they all thought it was 1 week ago. Surprise, surprise, just like it always is, but it didn't matter to the media. And even again, what the media did last night, where the only reason they were at that thing with Peter Dutton was because they wanted a gaffe or a protester. But if it's a good night, shh, don't show any of it. Michael, wider than that, state of the race, what do you feel right now?
So first of all, well done on last night. I thought that was a brilliant piece of television, and I thought Peter Dutton was superb, and great job by you, mate. What is the state of the race? Okay, so the state of the race is this: between the middle of February and the end of March, Peter Dutton lost ground. They had lost momentum. Cut long story short, in the last couple of days, he's now picked up that momentum. Why? Because he's making big announcements. The momentum is now back with Dutton. This will take days and a week or so to figure into the polling. The momentum is now back with Peter Dutton. He looks more aggressive. He looks more energised. He's full of big announcements. On the other hand, Albo, who's not a good campaigner, seems very placid, almost sleepy. He's got to stop doing these Medicare announcements, because people are thinking 5 days, you've had 5 announcements in front of the Medicare sign. People are saying to him, Albo, Medicare is not under threat. It's not going to be gutted, mate. Get out and meet some real people and make some real announcements. But as I said the other week, mate, Albo's problem is there are so many topics he cannot go near. The only topics he can really go near are Medicare and Trump. He can't go near immigration, cost of living, power prices, Jewish community, crime, safety, housing, young people. The list goes on and on. He'll be a very short visit with the Victorian Premier tomorrow if she appears at all. Chris Bowen's disappeared. There's so much he can't do. So what does he do? Every day he gets in front of the Medicare sign. He's been doing this for 5 days. He's got to stop this. People are saying this guy's got nothing to announce. Well, so his problem is there doesn't seem to be much in his locker. There seems to be a lot in Peter Dutton's locker, and the momentum is now back with Peter Dutton. Well,
it is interesting, by the way, when we talk about the leaders, right? South Australia, I think Malinauskas has an preferred premium of 85%, right? So he's hoping a little bit of Malinauskas dust falls his way. But in Victoria, he wants to be as far away from Jacinta Allen as possible, and we know that Chris Minns shows him up when he gets to New South Wales. But, Stephen, we're not going to deny where the bookies are, where the polls are, all the rest of it, but the full picture of the polls, and especially that failure to land when it comes to the budget, is a little sober reminder to all those people who were saying in and around the corridors of Labor, we're not just back, we could win 90 seats.
Well, I think that's getting a little ambitious. I think I can't remember the last budget delivered by either political party that's seen any significant bounce in the polling that's followed over the next couple of weeks. So I wasn't expecting this budget to be any different to the last 10 or 12. What has, and Michael mentioned a little bit, I mean, I don't agree with Michael's analysis on substance, and I think I'm at times in a parallel universe to Michael in some of his analysis of what's actually gone on in the campaign so far. Peter Dutton has had probably his worst, and I've admired his ability to keep the Liberal Party together. That is an incredible achievement in the first term after you lose. And he's performed well. But in about the last 4 weeks, he's just had a few stumbles and fumbles and looks like he's a bit down on confidence. Now, I think he'll come back during the campaign, as to Michael's point. He will make some announcements and they will get him a little bit more traction. But I think it's undeniable to anybody observing that Peter Dutton's had a pretty rough 4 weeks. Albo, who has been accused, as Michael just did, of being, looking like he's in retirement mode. Albo's actually had his best few weeks, coinciding with Dutton struggling a little bit. And so if you were asking what seat number would I pick today, I'd probably put Labor on 72, maybe 73, depending on a couple of seats are just too hard to call. Which would mean they would form a minority government. So that's, I know we're going to talk about seats at length, and this will be the most complex election night. I mean, Tom Connell will be right across it. So to all your viewers out there, tune in. Tom Connell will be on top of this. I know other channels have got spruikers, but watch Tom Connell on election night. He will be dissecting seats going in 4 or 5 different directions. And this is going to be a real challenge for those of us who follow politics. It's not going to be a normal election night.
Yeah, bloody oath. And not to mention, again, the complexity all the way from North Queensland, Tasmania, and we know, of course, the game out west, which is that conversation about, you know, if it's a relatively good night, if things weren't as bad in Victoria, is it, you know, 70, 71, 72, or the other way around? All of that, of course, we learn together. But let's also just be adults and have the adult conversation with everyone watching. What's the greatest worry you have for your side, though, Stephen?
Look, I think Albo in that last campaign had a really bad first week. He was then off with COVID for a week, and then he built momentum after that. So he just needs to stay match fit. I think he's absolutely had a very good few days. I'm going to disagree strongly with Michael. So I think that this is an election campaign for the first time in probably 5, 6, 7 election campaigns where the performance of the leaders during the campaign is going to be a critical factor. So we need Albo to keep going like he's had so far, because that's been high quality, and he's looking like he's engaged, he's looking like he's got a little bit of passion, and I think he's come out of the blocks, whereas I think Peter's just had a bit of a fumble in the blocks. I absolutely accept. I think he'll pick up and come through, and those polls will tighten. I mean, to any Labor voters out there, do not for a moment get complacent. The polls will tighten, as they always do during the election campaign. Yeah.
Michael, your worry for your team?
Look, my biggest fear is that Labor will try and do a Daniel Andrews, which is what Andrews did at the 18 and 22 state elections here in Victoria. He didn't care what effect it had on the budget.
Correct.
He just threw billions at suburban rail link and whatever else, plundered Victoria into an economic crisis, but he won the 2 elections. Now he's gone. He'll take Jacinda Allen down with him, but he's bankrupted Victoria. So the biggest worry is that Albo says, listen, I'm going to fall behind in the polls, which he's about to. I need to win. I'm not going to be labelled as the first Prime Minister in 90 years, blah, 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 blah. I don't care what it costs. I'm going to bring dental into Medicare. So across the nation, everyone's dental is covered by your Medicare card, to which people will say, Albo, that's going to cost tens of billions a year. You can't be serious. And he'll just say, I'm doing it anyway. Or I'm doing it for everyone up to 30 or everyone over 40 or something, right? Some big, outrageous economic policy, because more people will be keen on voting for that than are worried about the debt. So that's my biggest worry, that he just basically says, I'm going to blow the budget, I don't give a stuff.